Hello and welcome to the Love, Peace, Truth, Karma podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Brown, and I've got the beautiful Leilani Dowding here with us today. She is a model, TV star, and now presenter, but more importantly, a fellow freedom fighter. You're going to love this. We're going to reminisce about Housewives, even though we wasn't on it together. But I hope you enjoy the podcast.
If you're in China, you just know it's corrupt. They want it to be like that here.
People are pretending to be 12-year-old kids, mate, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're 40-year-old men.
Now we're getting bombarded with all these death numbers, but there's no context there.
He'd got one child pregnant, he'd raped many others, and we had evidence to prove that.
Do you think evil still exists today as it did back then? And the answer should very simply be yes.
Before I get started today, I just want to announce some really exciting news. I have been asked to team up with Start Fitness Retreats to offer an exquisite collaboration. This is just what you need to fully charge your mind, body and soul. Be prepared to immerse yourself in a wonderful experience, connecting with like-minded souls that are also passionate about improving themselves through mindset, fitness and self-care. This stunning farm is eco-friendly and the perfect location, situated in central Portugal next to a lake and a beautiful woodland. I will be offering in this retreat meditation, yoga, cacao ceremony and have breathwork specialist Craig Seaton and sound bath technician Amy Azari coming along with me to provide everything you need to completely replenish your soul. As well as the above, the guys at Stark also have extensive knowledge in fitness and nutrition, which will be included in the itinerary. On site, there is mountain biking, paddle boards, kayaking, or maybe you would like to just chill by the poolside. This is your time, so you decide. All welcome. Share the love. The retreat dates are from the 7th of May 2022 to the 14th of May 2022 for 7 nights. Please click the link below to find out more details on how to book or reserve your place. So Leilani, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No, thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, us meeting up again, because the last time we actually met, well, the first time we met was at the march, the protest, wasn't it?
Totally first and only time. And the weirdest thing is, obviously we did that show at different times, but I'd followed you. I'd followed you on Instagram, and actually you really inspired me to speak out. I just want to say that first of all and get that out of the way. That when I first saw you speaking out, I'd kind of hinted, I'd made silly pictures, like I put a tinfoil hat on my head and done all of that. But I hadn't actually really blatantly said how I feel, that I was against the lockdowns, against the mask mandates. And you said it, and I was like, right, you know what? I'm gonna speak it now.
And you've actually still got your account, so you're doing well.
It's mad, isn't it? Like the censorship that's
Angels
going on.
looking after you.
What I did do is I did see a lot of people were getting censored, so I actually built a second one where I was even more vocal. And then I'd had posts removed, so I actually did self-censor to some extent. I was a little bit worried about getting it totally wiped out, so I kind of was quite careful about the way I worded things and remove certain words, change words with other words. Like, I can say unvaccinated here, can't I?
Well, you can, but we're trying not to use the word too much, just in case, because it is going on YouTube and it's still censored, as we know. And Sean Ward, because it was like Sean Ward's got is he still on? I've not seen much of Sean, actually.
Do you know what? That's the thing as well with shadow banning. You don't just get banned, you get shadow banned. So your account's still there, and I'm shadow banned a lot. Your account is still there, but no one can see it. Yeah. And then people are like, oh, I haven't seen you post for like a month. And I'm like, oh no, they're all there. Yeah. You just can't see it because of the shadow banning. Yeah. So I was shadow banned actually quite early on, and I saw my stories go from like 10,000 views to like 200 overnight. And I think that kind of gave me a bit of a warning to not say so much. Plus then I was like, what am I posting? I'll just do the odd thing.
So when mine got taken down, I'd already started this second one now, the Leanne Brown, which I'd called Leanne Brown Truth initially. And obviously then I was starting the podcast as well, because I did have a feeling that it was going to happen. But yeah, it's I didn't really get any warning either. It just sort of like it was actually when I was going to I think it was when I was going to the London protest when I met you. The morning that morning is when I woke up and Sam Brown messaged me saying, "Babe, where's your account gone?" And my stomach just churned, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." They just don't want to know, don't they? You can't get in contact with anyone.
No, you can't appeal it, because I had my first Truth account taken down in the same way, but I think it was after you. And I remember because we would plan to meet up. It was going to be the first time we'd met up.
Yeah.
And luckily we'd exchanged numbers.
Yeah.
Because I do speak to a lot of people through Instagram, and then suddenly I thought, oh my God, if I don't get people's numbers and
details,
actually go back to old school, like you can't trust just communicating on like Facebook and Instagram for like really important people that you're going to meet up with, because like the platforms can go down, you can get censored, you can get removed, and then it's like, how do I get in touch with some of these people? They're around the other side of the world.
And it's been amazing that everyone's connected, that so many like minds and truth speakers, freedom advocates, and it's been lovely. It's sort of really been overwhelming to show that we're not alone, you know, in all of this. And I think that's what people have struggled most with, haven't they? Like thinking that because they've been so alienated by the surrounding friends and families, because they've not seen what they've seen. I'm still being shadow banned on this account now. Nobody can tag me, and I don't share anything. I'm very, very careful on shared the odd thing about like put something up about there was the kids in the classroom wearing masks and singing a song of the teacher. We all like it was a nursery rhyme that they changed to "We all wear masks," and they're like, these kids are like 3, 4, 5, like it's just maybe a little bit older, 4, 5, 6, you know, but they're all sat there.
Was that in America? Because America's some states
so brainwashing
have just gone so far with this and so crazy, and you know, with their mandates for children now to go to schools, it's like it's so crazy, and it's really upsetting. But it's crazy just to see the censorship and how you can get taken off just for asking questions or not following the narrative completely. And I remember, but like you said about it being nice that we've built this community, because we really have, like not we, but like the whole community's built around. I remember when I first went on your Instagram post, and I used to, before I had the courage to speak up, I would go onto yours and I'd see you getting abused, and I'd be like, no, and I'd like chime in.
You did actually. I remember you like sticking up for me.
And then I'm like, you know what? This isn't fair. Like, she's getting a stick all by herself because she's the only one like speaking out. I should probably say something on my own page and then like fight my own battles as well as fighting, like, because I would come on and I was like, she's so brave not to just like sit back and like not engage, and I was there and just let everyone else do it.
But that's the thing, it's the best just not to engage with it, because if they're of that opinion and they're so like nasty with it, really, then it's very unlikely you're going to change anyone's opinion anyway. And these people, they've not really done any research on the other side. They're just accepting what they've been told, aren't they? So you're just getting, it's like anything though, any social media trolling, there's no point in interacting, because it's about, you know what I mean? It's about their view and their, you know, you're not going to, I just kind of like try and send them love and feel sorry for them, because it's their headspace and where they're at, isn't it? It's like, it's bullying.
And then it's turned around. I feel like it's turned around now. So like you used to get a lot of, like I used to see so many comments on your page, and then I used to get them as well when I started speaking out. But now it's like, it's a great thing, because it's all the people that wanted to see you for your materialism and your clothes or your whatever you're posting, they've all gone now, because they've all disappeared, because they don't want to be part of it, because it's just boring to them now for like to see those kinds of posts. And it's welcomed in a whole load of people that want to see some positivity and want to see change and want to fight the fight. So in a way it's like great, like you kind of get rid of the bad and all the new great stuff comes in.
Exactly. Yeah, I did actually, when I did a live the other day, and I was actually reflecting on, did a meditation reflection on new beginnings, and actually thinking about what did because I've achieved so much in the last 6 months of 2021 because my page got taken down.
Right.
And it was like a blessing in disguise, because then I was really focused on, you know, pushing positivity and, you know, the light in a different way.
Yeah.
And I do think it's important to people be aware and still do the research and still... the first 6 months, I was like, what did I actually do in that first 6 months? Well, I fought for freedom. I fought for truth. I attended the marches. I woke people up. But on a personal level, what did I do?
Yeah.
You know, what did I achieve? And it wasn't very much. So I think people have to be aware of that also, that when you're going down the rabbit holes, try not to get so sucked into it, because then the fear does take over, and you're just in the same boat as somebody who's wanting to go and wear 3 masks and take a V.
See, that's what I found. Yeah, that's what I found. It's like there's you can be scared of all of that and the virus, or you can get scared of what the future could hold and what's happening. Yeah. And sometimes I do find myself going down that rabbit hole, and I have to try and make myself positive, or I have to go and find an account that's showing some positivity so that I can feel positive, so I can give that positivity back. Because otherwise you can sit there going down this rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, what if we turn into Australia, or what if what's happening in France starts happening here? And you can start getting that mindset, but then that's, like you said, a very fear-driven mindset that then puts your body under stress as well. So I always think it's better to come from like, okay, what are the solutions, like you've been doing, like finding the solutions to all of this, and finding solutions for yourself and for your family, and okay, if this happens, what do I do next?
Yeah, because it is important. Raising the vibration. I think fear, take on the word fear as not fear everything and run, but face everything and rise.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I've seen that somewhere. So it's not one of mine, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Nicked it.
These are all like these great like sayings, and you're like, oh, I wish I thought of that.
I do make some of them up. But yeah, talking about censorship, we've just mentioned Robert Malone doing the podcast with Joe Rogan, is it?
Yeah.
You've just brought it to my attention. And so I'm looking forward to, this is the guy that invented mRNA, and he's been took off Twitter.
Yeah, and it's mad.
He's speaking out, isn't he?
So he actually got taken off Twitter a couple of days before he went on Joe Rogan. And I'd seen him because like Majid, I can never pronounce his name. Majid Nawaz had interviewed him, I think.
Okay.
But I definitely seen him on one of those things, and you know, he's always come across as sharing a lot of information. He's had like 500,000 followers. And all of a sudden he was taken off, and then he went on to Joe Rogan. And it's quite a drive for me to come up. So I listened to it on the way up. And I mean, when he listed off his resume, he said, I'm going to do the short version. And it took 10 minutes. Like, he is so qualified to speak. Like, he's been a consultant to like the CDC, I think. He's a massive consultant. He's been involved when the outbreak of Zika. He was he like spoke about that, and he's really been involved with like mRNA technology, and then also like outbreaks and kind of planning and all of this kind of stuff as well. So he's so qualified. It is insane. I mean, I can't even begin to list off the names of what he said he's done, because so far beyond me. But it just shows you. Mad.
Yeah, it just shows you they'll stop at nothing to prevent truth getting out, won't they?
And he talks about a lot of the censorship on the podcast and reasons for the censorship. So it's pretty mind-blowing. And when he starts listing off other physicians and doctors and scientists that have been kind of ridiculed, censored, everything else, and then he lists off kind of their qualifications, it is just, it blow your mind. It's like, this is, whoa.
Then people say, you a doctor, you a scientist. Like, no, but I'm listening to doctors and scientists that are just not speaking the narrative that you choose to listen to.
And it's funny, even my parents now are like, well, why aren't these people on the news? And I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Listen to them and you'll understand why the mainstream won't show them.
It. Yeah. Like the fire in Kazakhstan as well that's just happened, and apparently that's the control centre of, like, dare I say, what should we call them? the powers that be. Yeah. That's supposed to be one of the main places, and they've been like pushed out, haven't they? Apparently there's like so many private jets flying out of there.
Yeah,
good
it's
for
very
them.
quiet.
Like I just really do believe that there's so much happening. Got like I said, I've got AJ Roberts coming on next week, which I'm really excited about, and he's got a wealth of knowledge, ex-military and stuff, and he's knows about all the information with regards to taking the people, like the police and everybody that's been forcing it in court and stuff like that, with Mark Steele and Benicia. Michael Benicia, is it? So yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking to him. Yeah,
no,
but so much
AJ's really great, and he's spoken to a lot of American scientists.
Yes.
Actually, he's had a great number of people on his podcast, and I think like he's spoken to a few people before they've gone on to Joe Rogan and stuff.
Wow.
You know, so it's quite amazing the guests that he's managed to get on, and yeah, so he's a great guy. He just started from like just wanting to like share some knowledge to building this like amazing network of people that really, I mean, they're just so qualified to speak on these subjects.
People need to start listening. So yourself have started your own show. With the lovely Jenna. I didn't realise Jenna was co-hosting it with you. I've just seen it. Yeah, called Divine.
I know.
I love the name. Yeah,
Thank
coinciding with the rise of the divine feminine. Yeah.
It's just
What's it about?
So we're going to bring like positivity and solutions. We're going to be interviewing like our first guest, I think, is one of the leaders of the Workers of England Union. Okay. So we want to help people like, you know, and the NHS workers and the 100,000 that are going to be losing their jobs, trying to give them some advice.
Because of refusing
because of the mandates. Yeah. We're going to be talking about people that have like come out the other side, you know, so some nurses that or care workers that are now doing something else. We're going to be talking about nutrition, keeping healthy, and just answering. We're going to get a lot of input from like our Instagram followers and social media on who they want to see us interview, what kind of questions they want answered, because that's the thing. Like we've all got these questions, and we're no longer allowed to, you know, speak about it, ask the questions, or even share them, even on social media now, because of all the censorship. So we want to provide a platform for people to be able to kind of find solutions. And okay, what do we do? If they bring mandates here, well, let's speak to somebody that's homeschooling, you know? So that's kind of what we're going to do.
Well, with Lilia, not very well, I might add to it. I'm just kind of letting her get on with it. But yeah, she's just doing GCSEs, Maths and English online, which it's just because Maths and English are the ones that really need to do most, aren't they? But
just how many children do you have?
I've got three girls, but Hallie's at uni. She's 19 in Leicester, dance uni, so she's really creative. And then Lola, Lily is obviously doing the online classes now. And do you know, I've seen such a change in Lilia lately, and I don't know if she never ever liked school. She didn't really have a lot of she had a couple of close friends, but she doesn't really check for them anymore. Like she's just not interested. I think they're all into boys, and she's just she's got her own mind, she's got her own way and her own style, and she's very creative as well. So and then Lola's in the conscious classrooms, which is just a small group of like children that's a friend of mine's got an outbuilding, so using that, and that's brilliant. She's just thriving, you know, doing all the lessons that should be in schools, realistically.
That's the thing, because I feel like they've really taken away creativity from schools, haven't they? So like your middle daughter, you mentioning that, like they've taken away a lot of creativity. And I remember seeing this TED talk, and it was about like this little girl that wasn't focusing in school properly, and they got in these specialists, and then the specialists said to her parents, like, let's leave her in the classroom. We'll put some music on, leave her in the classroom.
I know it's Ken Robinson who just spoke about this on Tanya's, because she had ADHD. They thought she had ADHD, and she was a dancer, wasn't she?
Yeah. It turns out she was dancing around.
Ballerina.
Or I think choreographer. Maybe
she ended up going to ballet school, I think, and she was a famous ballerina. Yeah. I know the TED Talk well. Yeah. We actually spoke about it with Tanya, because I said to Tanya, maybe you're a dancer, Tanya.
Well, that's the thing, because it's like to do with like ADHD and all of that, but sometimes it's not. Creativity. It's creativity. And the same thing, Michael Phelps, the swimmer, they thought he had ADHD, and look, they they took him to a swimming pool and he became an Olympic champion.
Finding, isn't it? That spark of where it is, what's their strengths, what's their passion, and igniting it, isn't it? And that's something that school just doesn't do, like, unfortunately. But yeah, Lilia's, I think she's really into like interiors and stuff. So I'm going to try and get her a little placement, like work experience and stuff. And there's one as a friend of mine, somebody's got a bridal shop, and I just think to be able to have that ability to have such a wide open, what's the word I'm looking for? To be able to just channel and find out what it is, what you're into. And, you can read, you can write, you can add up, and all them things. But unless you're specifically really into numbers, or you're into science, or you're into like something specific, where she can always do a course of that whenever, you know. So it's not necessary, I don't think, to be at school and do the work and the homework and such an early age. And kids are just not kids long enough in my eyes. I feel like they would do so much better by able to do that
and like there's apprenticeships as well, and it's like we've kind of like really just gone down this channel of like university, then job. Like there's all sorts of things, like there was get an apprenticeship or learn and get hands-on experience, because I always think like hands-on
kind of gone that now, hasn't it?
Hands-on experience is so important for things, and so like you said, creativity and stuff. And I didn't realize you spoke about it with Tanya, because I reached out to her actually when I saw her post online, because I was diagnosed with ADHD in America like years and years ago. And they tried to put me on medication and it just didn't work for me either. And I mean, Billy, you'll see here, I'll just go off on all these tangents. Yeah. It's good. My way of thinking, I'm always on these tangents. And Billy, my fiance, is always like, Leilani, will you just focus? And I do have difficulty focusing on like menial things, but like put me with my horses and I can just be there, like all animals, and I will just be there like all day. Like I want to learn every single like little bit, and I've had my horses for years and I'm still learning, still want to learn more, like, and everything, and so I just think it is about finding like your niche as well. So
you mentioned Billy, and we had a little bit of conversation earlier about Billy's cancer scare, and this is one thing that I think I don't want to say the word COVID has prevented people to be able to see doctors face to face, and therefore there's a huge backlog, isn't there, in people that are waiting treatment and not misdiagnosis as well. Well,
this is it. So Billy had cancer. He had prostate cancer. It was really early on in our relationship. I've been with him almost 5 years now, but it was in the first 6 months, I think. He got diagnosed with cancer, and he literally just went for a normal checkup. I think he was, so he was 55 at the time. So that's young for prostate cancer. No symptoms of it at all. And he went just for a normal checkup, which is what they'll do that in America. You just go in and they'll take your bloods and everything. And it was a new doctor. So he said, look, I want to check your PSA levels. So I don't exactly know what that is, but I know it's a marker for prostate cancer in men. So he's like, and what he saw was an elevation. So it wasn't that the number was particularly high, but it was double what it was in his previous one. So he goes, look, I think we need to look into this further. Anyway, turns out that he had prostate cancer. And it was really early on, like if he'd done the finger cough check, which I don't know any much about. So there's a way of telling if you have an enlarged prostate, which
you stick your finger up.
Yeah, and then they have to cough. The doctors do that. I know nothing about it, but if he had to do that, his prostate wasn't actually enlarged, so he would never have known from that way. It was literally through a blood test that he found out. Then he went for a biopsy, and he found out that he had cancer, and he was able to have it removed. It was quite a slow one, wasn't very aggressive, but there were little bits of aggressive. I don't know how it's measured exactly, but he said it's a bit that is, but it's mostly non-aggressive. And he literally went on tour and then to South America, I think, and then booked his operation to have his prostate removed maybe like 8 weeks later. So it was really, it was so quick. Yeah. There wasn't all these waits. And I know of 2 people right now with prostate issues that haven't been able to have a proper consultation. It's been a year and a half, not even a biopsy yet. And I just think Billy literally had a wellness check and had his cancer removed all within 4 months. And I think that's, helped with all helped with the healing and everything else. And still, thank goodness, he's cancer free, 4 years on. But I just despair for the people that are missing out on all these checks, because it's just so important. We hear all the time, the key to beating cancer is to catch it early and get the checks in. So, yeah.
No, it's frightening. People, the doctors surgeries just don't seem to be taking anyone to have them checks, or don't they? And even a friend of mine actually got taken to hospital, and she couldn't breathe properly, and she ended up she'd had blood clots, and so it's damaged her heart now. But she said she was literally in and out as quickly as they could, and she said the wards were empty. She was put on a ward one on her own. There was nobody else on it. And I don't know if they're keeping the wards empty because they're trying to isolate people and all the rest of it. But now they've sort of said she's trying to get back in touch to say I need to check my heart, because they think that she's potentially got damaged heart now because of it. And she's just they're just trying to get hold of people and trying to get them booked in. And it's I mean, some people say they're trying to get rid of the NHS, aren't they? And maybe that's where it's going, because obviously we know there's been so many people that have been let go or sacked because they're not taking the jabs.
It makes no sense to me. So we're in this...
I all hail the NHS, we're clapping for them 1 minute, and next minute they're all getting sacked.
So this is exactly what I'm thinking, because, we know that the NHS has been in crisis for years, right? So then this comes along, we're all clapping for them, and then they say, right, we're going to get rid of care workers now. So there's people in hospital, and it happened to my friend's mum. She was in hospital and she was fine. She could be discharged, but she had to stay in 4 days longer because they couldn't get a home care package in place for her. Why? We've sacked 40,000 care workers.
Wow.
So now we're going to sack 100,000 NHS workers in April. So dentists, consultants, doctors, nurses, you name it. And if we're in crisis now, what's going to happen when we get rid of another 100,000?
Well, I feel like that's what they're doing. So then they can say they're in crisis, but that's the reason, because of their actions that they've taken.
And then you hear about the government going and having meetings with American health insurance providers and healthcare providers, which is all health insurance, which is all money making. And I mean, look, it's great. That's one good thing about having money, is you can do things like you can go and get private healthcare, right? We are very lucky that we've got the NHS, and we're not having to pay for it in the UK, which has been a godsend. But obviously, it's crumbling. But this is what I mean, and it's it's forcing people to go and get private healthcare, and then you think, I'd love to know how many of our MPs and all this have invested in private healthcare companies, because obviously, if the NHS goes, private healthcare is the only way. So it's all a money Health insurance is money making. Yeah. So who's invested what? It will be really interesting to see where these people have shares in, you know.
Well, when you see the likes of the government who get paid ridiculous amounts of money and are very frivolous and with everything, and then you've got the nurses that are slogging it out day in, day out, doing all the hours God send, and didn't even get a pay rise.
No,
it's
exactly.
ironic. It's crazy. But yeah, and then we did also mention about the fertility waiting list as well, which when we were talking about that earlier in Scotland, I wasn't aware of that.
Scotland have now made it so unvaccinated women can't get fertility treatment. So when I was doing the Housewives, obviously I spoke about Billy having his prostate removed. That means that we would never naturally be able to conceive. Now, luckily, I don't. I'm not a maternal person. I've never really wanted children. Too anxious about my own future, never mind worrying about somebody else's future. But I had so many people reach out on the subject of not having children who, because even though, I guess on the Housewives, I was in tears, saying when everyone was talking about kids, we can't have kids. And it wasn't necessarily about not having children. It was what Billy had been through. And so, if that was something we wanted, we would have to have it by artificial insemination. And a lot of women reached out to me talking about like the struggles that they're going through and how they feel about, society thinking they should have children and all of this. And so I spoke to a lot of people about fertility treatment and how important it is to them. And I have a friend who's having fertility treatment, and to take it away from women, it's just so inhumane, and their ability to have children, and to go, right, no, we're just going to defer you because you've chosen not to have a jab. Well, there's people out there that they're just trying to completely detox their bodies of everything as part of their fertility program. Like I have a friend who's going through fertility treatment. She doesn't want, she's trying to get rid of everything that she could have put in her body and detox it from all kinds of chemicals, from, years of like medications or other jabs or anything else. And so the last thing she wants to do is put some unknown experiment into her before having this treatment. You know?
One of the things that's been widely talked about is the fact that it can make you infertile.
We're not even allowed to discuss that, are we?
No.
Can't hear. I mean, in general, like you start asking those questions on Facebook or Instagram, and it's like, ban, right, 30 days, you're off.
And then obviously with the rise in miscarriages and things like that, and stillborns, and this has all been documented, isn't it? So it's very frightening if then they're not going to allow. It's like they just, we know about the overpopulation of the world it isn't overpopulated, but the population control is obviously the agenda, isn't it? And just, I was speaking about the Matrix with Maria was on with the healing egg and saying how they're harvesting humans on the Matrix, and I feel like they're trying to take our ability to have babies naturally, so then they can harvest us as in these fake wombs that they've created, which is also been documented. Have you seen those?
Yeah. No, this is the thing. It's like, it's so funny. You speak about things and people think
you're crazy, or it's a conspiracy.
A bit like the chip that we spoke about.
Yes. Yeah, but now that's like all over
mainstream,
the news. Like,
and it's
it's okay now. Like people just not putting two and two together. Like you were conspiracy theories a couple of years ago when you spoke about that. But
I know. And even like when Bev Turner was on the morning show speaking about it, it can't have been more than 3 months ago. And she got absolutely annihilated by Dermot, and I think it was Jeremy.
Jeremy Vine.
Was it him? Was it him?
I can't stand him.
Send
him lovely and send him love. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
Yeah, and it's like they ridiculed her, they belittled her, they wouldn't let her speak, they tried to make her out to be completely crazy. And next thing, it's in like all the mainstream media that the Swedish are trying this, and the Swedish are gonna like put your COVID information onto this microchip, and it's being tested, and 6,000 people in Sweden have had it already. And it's like, you forget like what you called us 4 months ago, never mind what you called us like 2 years ago. And it's really like I wish I was wrong, and I'm sure you wish you were wrong. And most of us just wish it really was a conspiracy and we're so wrong and that life has got back to normal.
Yeah.
But we saw this coming, and it's like, and it's really hard because you're living with it. And you're like, I really hope it doesn't happen. At the same time, you do kind of feel vindicated. You're like, look, I told you, I'm not mad.
Yes.
And then they still go, well.
It's not even like you want to be right. I mean, people it's just about trying to help people, just trying to give an informed choice to stop people making a decision that they may later regret because there is not enough evidence in place to show that it is safe.
Yeah,
we all know that, and you only have to look at the VAERS, the vaccine reaction and deaths that it's caused. It's anyways.
I mean, it's all there, and it's like they talked about it again on Joe Rogan and Robert Malone, going back to that. And my first 30-day Facebook ban was because I put up this little girl called Made Degare. She was part of the Pfizer trials. Her mum spoke in a public hearing.
I put that up as well, and that's one of the things that I got censored for, actually.
Yeah. And then that was it. They took it off. So we're not I mean, we won't talk about it here because we don't want YouTube putting your thing down.
I've only had one YouTube episode taken down, and it was Paul Boy's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's because they're onto him or because he was talking about what I don't even want to say it.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I got so sensitive.
Still on Spotify, by the way, so you can still listen to it.
And that's the thing,
And
I
Apple.
think, Spotify is great actually for not censoring stuff, isn't it? And I think that, I mean, all I can say is you can find the mother, Stephanie DeGarra. You can find her videos sporadically if you try and look for them. But they're on Getter. We should talk about that as well.
Yes, this is something that we need to mention as well, because first I've heard of that. I've been thinking, when is somebody going to invent another Instagram or Facebook or whatever, so people can start building a platform on these on a different place that's not censored
and that's easy to use as well.
And it's like similar, because I do love Instagram.
Yeah,
I do love the fact you can like post videos and your comments, and you can pictures and everything,
and then you can engage underneath
everything.
it.
Yeah, so but you said
people.
You can do all that, but you just can't accept. There's no DM.
There's no
option.
DMing, so no one can sneak into your DM.
Yeah, but
so they can't abuse you, and then they got it secretly, and then they, so it's good. So like everything's out in the open, so you can sit there, and it's fine, because if people need to get hold of us, they can get hold of us other ways.
Yeah.
But
Telegram.
there you go. So
Getter, it's
Gettr.
Gettr. Okay,
And I think after Robert Malone was removed, Joe Rogan was just like, right, I'm getting on Getter just in case. I'm getting on Getter.
Who's the control of that? Do we know?
I haven't researched into that, but I know that everyone suddenly migrated over there, like a lot of the GB News people and other.
GB News is great as well.
Yeah, GB News. I think that really helped my parents get off the BBC, and because they love to watch a news channel at night, and I'm like, just watch GB News.
Yeah,
and they love Dan Wootton.
He's been good as well.
He's been really good, and he just spoke. He spoke to Denise Welsh and did all of that.
Yeah,
and
so
and
Carol. And thank God that
they're all over there on there.
Oh, cool.
So everybody's like
creating another platform and yourself as well with your show. And this is where it is. It's the future of TV, isn't it? It's that
because we need to be able to have open discussions, and that's the thing. And it's like, you know what? Fine, if you think we're wrong, or if get Fauci on and get him to debate like Robert Malone. But we're not even allowed that to happen, and they won't
because
do it.
They know they've got a standing chance to actually be able to warrant what they're saying, because there's no truth in it
at all. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but they won't let you do that. So I managed to repost that video of the young girl and her mum from the Pfizer trials on Getter. It hasn't been removed yet. And then the last thing I got removed, a 30-day ban for, that's over tomorrow, that I posted on Getter, was I talked about a $53 million class action lawsuit against a horse jab that was killing horses in Australia or New Zealand. God. And they banned me for that. I literally said, look at the parallels. It's funny how you can sue for an animal but not a person, and also look at the parallels of how they mandated this thing for horses, and it killed horses and injured horses, and it wasn't until 5 years later that people actually realised, and people that were working with horses, they were like, well, if you don't give it to your horse, you're going to lose your job. You can't work with horses.
Wow.
And the vet won't come out and see your horse if it gets injured another way.
The same thing.
And I put that on there, and I got back. I implied, but I didn't say anything directly, but it was my last thing I got the ban for. So I shoved that on Getter, still up there.
Oh, good. So that's a good test there. Whack a few things on, see what happens. But no, that's really good to know, so going back to the show, we've got to discuss the show. I'm sure people will want to know, even though it wasn't. Obviously, I had Tanya on, which has just been put out, which was very, very funny. Obviously, because she is very funny, isn't she? You got on with Tanya, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I really did like her. She's so funny. And like I said, like I don't. put a lot of things out publicly that's to do with people's private life. But I did message her, like, you know, when I saw what she was going through, secret, like on DMs, and just, you know,
Secretly.
secretly.
Can't do that on Getter though.
No, exactly.
Come on, Getter, get a DM thing going.
But then I do have her number, so I could have texted her as well. But I was being lazy, and instead of going on to like text, yeah. But no, I really really liked her.
Yeah. So, what was your time like on there?
Do you know what?
You only did one series, didn't you?
I couldn't stay, and I like credit to all you lasting like 4. I couldn't.
I did 6.
It's mad. It's so
Tanya's
mad.
done every single one.
I know. I wanted to message Tanya afterwards and kind of go, "You'll feel so great when you can just like breathe again and not worry about everything." But I only was able to stick out one. I got really stressed. And you know what? I was driving home crying a few times, and that's not me. I'm like genuinely a very like strong, determined person, and I was getting a lot of anxiety, and I was really stressed, and I even developed this weird cough, and this was pre-COVID, okay? It was pre-COVID. But it lasted like 6 weeks, to the point where like, and then it got really bad, and then I went to I had to go into a walk-in clinic thing, and they just were like, it's just a cough. You don't have asthma. You don't have any pneumonia. My friends were like, it's really bad, really? Leilani. Check your chest. So I did go in. And then weirdly, it kind of stopped when I was told that filming had wrapped. And I think it was just my body was like under real stress.
That is actually a perfect explanation of what stress can do to you. And everything that's been happening as well is causing people to be stressed and in fear, and you know their body is reacting, and that's why there's so much illness going on, the weather changing and everything else, because I feel like at the minute there is so many people that have been ill, whether you've been jabbed or not. It's rife. I mean, it is this time of year anyway, but I think it's sort of like, I've heard of a lot of people, but
fear, stress and anger.
Yeah,
I think fear, stress and anger, those negative emotions really can affect your body and your immune system and you know the way you feel.
And ironically saying that it just went as soon as you stopped.
And I think I felt all of those emotions. And you know, and I just thought, like, I'm grateful. Like, I am grateful, and I don't want to, like, you know, I'm grateful because it taught me a lot. It taught me about myself. You know, it's given me a platform.
Yeah.
I was really upset that, and you see it in Divine, in the opening credits for Divine, it's me and my horse. Before I go on to meet Jenna and sit on the sofa for our chat. And those are the opening credits. And I think it's because I must have gone into the production meeting just going like, you know what, when I did it, they cut out my horses. Like, because my horses are like a huge part of my life. It's what I do every day, right? They cut out my little niece. They cut out me and my dogs.
This is in the Housewives.
In the Housewives, And it's like
you're filming for hours, and then they use like 30 seconds of it.
Yeah, and it's obviously, I understand they're using like the most dramatic parts, which again is like the news. And it, to me, like, I feel like, because of the Housewives, I see what the morning breakfast shows in England's doing. It's like the Housewives, they go, oh, let's find something that's like splits the audience, that people are going to have two different really you know, it's going to be quite polarizing, and there'll be these two like really different opinions and people's sides. And they do it on the breakfast shows now, almost like it's a reality show. Let's see what we can pick from, you know, daily life and get people arguing about it. So they start their day angry. They go to work, they're talking about it. They come home, they're talking about it. They're all angry. Everyone's mad. Yeah. And it feels like it was feels like that was kind of like was what was going on for me.
Of course, because they just want drama, don't they?
Yeah. And when I went on, I thought to myself, you know what, this is going to be great.
Did they sell the pipe dream like they do to us all? Like, it's about empowering women, and like, you would just want to show your like lifestyle, and
so I thought
your friendship, and then
and which would be great, right? If
just
it was empowering women,
pull them knives out my back.
I know, right? And like, I think people have a misconception, especially if you don't live like a really nice, like, because to me, empowerment isn't like what bags you have, what shoes you have, how are you dressing,
now, this
what
is something,
champagne you can drink.
Yeah.
That isn't empowerment to me. Empowerment is being really comfortable with yourself and how you are. And it's hard because
I get that they obviously wanted to show that women in business and stuff like that and wanted to promote, and like there is successful women on the show, like, you know, Tanya and Seema and, you know, they've all done really well, and I get that, but realistically it's not doing anything by showing like you're just slagging each other off.
Exactly. And
but yeah, like you say, comfortable in your own skin, and everything's just so materialized, isn't it? Everything's just so, and for me it was the Cheshire bubble in a sense, like even the WAG thing, do you know what I mean? And I was caught up in that for so long. The latest bag, and I've spoken openly about this and been honest, and that turning point for me was like, it's exploiting wealth, isn't it? The show is exploiting wealth. It's showing that, and people want to see it because they want to sort of get away from their own reality and be sucked into somebody else's life, and then they feel that they have the right to comment on that and, you know, slag you off if they don't agree with something, or if you're just a little bit too showy, or, you know, you can't win because you can't be everybody's cup of tea. But leaving the show was a massive, like, a U-turn for me, getting involved in the charity and going to Kenya and stuff, and just seeing how the other half of the, like, that side of the world, like, lives is so humbling. But sorry, go on.
No, I'm listening because it's true. And to be fair, like what you were saying about, like, I think that also has helped us have a thick skin with speaking out, because we did get so much stick.
Social media,
you know, and I remember, like, it was so funny, like, Perla, this was one time when I thought she was okay, and she like made some comment about me wearing the same dress or the same shoes all the time or something, and I'm like, oh, what, my favourite shoes in the whole wide world, I'm wearing them a few times, sorry, I've paid a lot, I should be able to wear them every day if I want to bloody wear them every day.
And
it's
you
like,
can.
And I can, and like this whole thing of like, I hate fast fashion and like wearing something new all the time, and I do wear stuff over and over, like I've probably got videos on my Instagram all the time in this t-shirt because I love it and it's cozy. And that was the thing,
and it
as
looks
well.
Great.
Thank you. I went on and I just thought, because Billy's really casual as well. Billy, my fiance, well, he wasn't at the time when I started, but we're engaged now. He's very casual, like he's always in the sweatpants. He feels like he's got nothing to prove. So he's very, very laid back, right? So for people who don't know, he's a musician, he's I guess you call him rock star, whatever you want to call, but he's, you know, been in this world, but he's very comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't care what people see him drive.
No.
He doesn't, nothing's for anyone else except for him. So, so he kind of was on the back burner, and I'm very similar, like probably like you. I'm very, because I've seen your Instagram, I'm always like in my sweats, in my hoodies, in my yoga pants, riding horses, and then I can get glammed up when I want to glam up, and I do love getting glammed up, and I love doing my hair, and I'm a girly girl. Well, I don't love doing it. I love it when it's done.
I hate doing my hair.
Doing my hair.
It's so annoying. Like,
I love it when it's done. I know. Well, that's like me, and it was like I actually became more of a slob when I finished the housewives, because I was like, oh, I don't have to wash my hair and have it all like done nicely.
Yeah, and the makeup, and then deciding what to wear, something different every time. And then, you can only wear colours on your master's interview, you know, like no black, no white. I'm like...
And it's so hard because I always wear black because it's just easy and you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, and it looks classy as well, like just really, you know, with bright colours on the thing.
So, but no, it was funny, and I just thought I was going to be able to show like a different side to like being a little more like laid back, less showy, but
you can't, because you can't get away with it.
You can't, can you? It's like, it's still like a competition of like, and then I think the viewers think that if you're not dressed in designer clothes all the time, then you're a bit of a pleb, and you don't really fit in to the Cheshire lot, because you should be head to toe in designer stuff. But that's just not like how life is, and you know. So anyway, it was funny, and then I think I had a bit of PTSD. I didn't want to come up to Cheshire for ages, so I would go down to my sister's after filming. Like Billy went back to America halfway because he's half in America, half here. So we were house hunting in Cheshire, but then I was going back when he stopped being here. I'd start going back down to my sister's in Staffordshire, and I'd kind of like not want to drive back up the M6. And do you know what?
Really?
Afterwards, I actually said to Billy, could we just buy somewhere near my sister? Because I'm not having as much fun up here as I thought. But then it was really silly because I've met like so many amazing people up here. So now I'm always up in Cheshire, like going for lunch with my friends who I met there, and I'm up there loads. And so we're moving again now to be a bit closer back up north. From the Midlands. Yeah.
So what was your highlight of doing the show? What was your favourite part? Or there was a scene or a trip or anything that you enjoyed most or something?
Do you know what? I absolutely used to love being around Tanya, which wasn't that much because for some reason we weren't put together, but she would always make me laugh.
That's the other thing. They know where they want you to, because I was actually saying, well, surely I would be with Tanya and I'd be seeing, because we were obviously our really good friends. And they'd purposely separate and not on this one. And then when they separate you and you can't see each other on like your children, and like you have to go in that room and not see anybody until later, and you're like sat on your own.
I know.
People think it's all so glamorous and also like off the spare of the moment in reality, but it's funny.
And just Esther was like such a laugh because she just didn't take herself.
I actually really like Esther, and I'm so happy for her that she's found a fella. And she's so happy, isn't she?
She's so happy. I'm like so pleased for her because she honestly, I think she's just got a good heart. Yeah. And, I really liked her, and then I actually got on really well with Hannah.
See, I've only met Hannah once because she wasn't filming in the house.
Yeah. I met Hannah. I think. Like we got on really well, but I don't think she knew that I was a page 3 girl till quite like
I know there's a lot of controversy around this, isn't there?
Yeah, there has been, but but I think because she got to know me before she realised, I think she was like, oh, okay. I mean, because I don't really like have page 3 girl vibe, whatever that might be. So,
but why should that make a difference anyway?
Yeah,
Leilani?
No. So I did get on quite well with her, and I feel bad because she had one. She's pregnant again.
Yeah.
And I should really have probably reached out, but I'm just like, I never get as excited about babies as animals. Like if one of them had got a new puppy,
you're like, congratulations!
You got posted her puppy Buzz. I was like,
it's not a puppy now. It's like a ton weight of this slobbering.
Oh my god! And then when Namina's posting her horses, I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah. And I'm like, I must remember to like the children. Puppies and horses, and I'm like, I've got to remember, so
animals
pretty
can't
cute.
see your back though, can they?
Yeah, no,
I'll
exactly.
keep you up all night. Well, unless they've like puppies and they're going everywhere. But
so I think like a few of them have had kids, and I've just got to remember, like, to me, I think one of my friends told me the other day, she was like Christmas Eve, and she sent me a picture like. Of like, what is it called? The scan.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what's that thing that you was like?
And I went,
baby.
Are you pregnant? I was like, I wasn't sure. Are you sending me like a horse scan or a puppy scan, or is this like? And it was somebody I'd actually set up with her fella. I was like, all right, good matchmaker. And I was like, before I get excited, are you sending me a horse or? Okay, it's a baby. Like, good luck. And then I'm like, shh. What's my reaction? They haven't been together that long. What should I like say? Am I meant to say congratulations? I feel like I'm still like this 17-year-old that's like, oh my God, what are you going to do? It's like, I need to get some maternal instinct. I'm like 42 years old.
Oh, you look great. It's just all right. If you don't want children, that's your decision, isn't it? It's fine.
But I do love
escape.
But I do, like, I am all about like being for the children, for their futures.
Yeah.
Like, I love my little niece. I just like,
then
for me,
just give them back.
Yeah, I give her back, and I'm like, I can babysit. And when my friends have problems, I'm like, just send them to me. It's okay, because I know I can give them. I can give them back after. So I do love the kids, and absolutely fight for them with what's going on now.
Oh yeah,
So,
100%.
you know,
100%. Yeah. What else?
And I always want to chime in. Actually, when I see something going on, I'm like, well, if I had kids,
Yeah.
It's like, you know, because I do, you know, really feel for them for what's happening.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's horrendous. I did actually see a little video of a guy talking. I don't know if it was something to do with the education or something, saying that there'd been several schools in the north that had a big percentage of children saying that they weren't going to be tested and weren't wearing masks. Did you see that?
I
was
saw
like, yes,
that.
the pushback, like, good on you, like, for the kids, like, and you don't know if it's the parents or the children just deciding for themselves. So hopefully it will be both, actually. But
I think there's a lot stronger pushback up north. I don't know why that is, if it's like a cultural thing, I don't know, but like, because I'm in the Midlands, North Midlands, but I do come up here quite a lot because I find there's like a lot more people like me up here, free thinking and open-minded. And then as you go down south, I don't know, you know, my parents are down south and I'm like, oh, a lot more Daily Mail readers down there taking it all in and spouting what they see there. So, no, it's good to see that up north they're like, and a lot of like the northern musicians as well, like Oasis, Noel Gallagher and Ian Brown and stuff. They've been quite vocal, haven't they, since the start?
Yeah, it's just so sad when they've they're saying about concerts and they're not allowing them to go in if they've not had the thing. But I did actually go to, I will mention this, I did go to watch the boxing and I didn't even think about it. And this is what I've been talking about, jumping timelines and living in a different frequency and a different vibration and just going with that energy that, you know, and nothing's going to stop me. I'm just going to do what I've always done. And like, so we got to the top of the stairs and my friend that was with, she was like, you can do the talking. I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, if they ask us because we need a passport. And I was like, so I just got to the top of the stairs and he just stopped me and just went, have you got your V passport? And I was like, no. And he said, well, have you got a lateral flow test? I was like, no. And he said, I just looked at each other and he looked at me and he went, do you feel okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fit as a fiddle. And he went, right, go on then.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And it's like, just honestly, just go with that energy that you send love and light wherever you go. And with that intention, and you know, I really do. But if you're going with the fight of like, right, somebody's going to stop me, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to fight back, or even if they feel, oh my god, I'm going to get stopped, you know, like it's a different frequency, different frequency.
Because I noticed that with myself. So for me, I've never worn a mask ever since day one, and I've never been stopped or had any kind of like big confrontation. Not by any shop owner. I think one time I had some guy say something under his breath that I could have ignored, but I don't know why I didn't. But anyway, aside from that,
you were just triggered. That's all.
I was just triggered. Maybe I was having a bad mood
human
about something else. But I haven't had an issue in 2 years, and I realised I was posting things like. I posted a couple of things of people getting arrested by police saying, look, this is what could happen. And then I'm thinking, I'm shoving this in their faces. I need to just show how easy it is to do what I do and not put that fear that you might get arrested if you don't wear one.
Yeah, because I feel like that is part of the propaganda as well. If you fear, put people in that much fear, then they'll go,
well, I won't wear one. I better wear one because I don't want to get arrested, or I don't want to get into a fight or an altercation or whatever. So I was realising, I kind of go, you know what, I'm kind of creating a bit of the problem I want to get away from. It's, you know, show, like you said, come from the loving aspect, the good aspect, the light aspect. And I'm like, so the next thing I did, this is how easy it is to go into Sainsbury's and not wear one. And it's just like so simple. And people are like, yeah, I've been doing that. And you don't start putting that fear in, and you're showing people like it is literally this easy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is habit now.
Yeah.
People are just doing it out of a habitual ritual now, like just putting, like when you walk around and you see, and they've just got them hanging around the chins, or like half on, and it's almost become a staple accessory. It's
and
very weird.
I'd say a lot of people do it as well to avoid the confrontation. Because they're worried that might happen, because they don't believe in it.
No.
They know the science isn't there. But they're just like, and then like kids at school go, I don't want the peer pressure if not. But when a few of them, just takes a few of them to say, look, no, I'm not doing it. Then suddenly no one wants to do it. So, there is a lot of that like group think. And I feel like it's the same thing with the thing. Where a lot of people are a bit like, well, I've done it now, so you should have to do it. So that's the reason.
Virtue signalling as well, isn't it? It's like a trophy, like a medal. And then, if they have any kinds of regrets, it's almost like this cult. Well, it's like, well, I've done it, so you should. And they try and get their like peers to all do it because, they have. And they don't want to be the person to, so they'll just, try and convince anyone around them to do it. When it's like, well, wait a minute, our bodies are all different. Let's all make our own decisions. Own informed decision as well. Yeah, that's what I found it. Quite mind blowing and disturbing how much pressure people are putting on other people within family units as well, for them not wanting to go down that same route. And even though all the evidence saying doesn't stop you getting it, doesn't stop you passing it on, and all the rest of it, and still they're just without the relevant, this is mums and dads trying to persuade their children to have it, and because they've had it, you won't be able to go on a holiday, and that is in the most infuriating thing that gets to me, like, just it's a lie anyway. I know some places they're saying that you can't, but there is actually the control groups as well now that I don't know if you've seen any of those, because I've actually joined one of those. Which is you have like you join in a group that shows that you can't be jabbed, and you sort of the placebo, so they're independent ones as well, so it's not in the system. But I know of people that have gone away abroad and used it to countries that weren't allowing people, and it's been effective.
I know somebody that's done that as well. And that's the thing, I think, and it's really sad because I do see that people are starting to get upset with people using loopholes, but you've got to use the loopholes. And it's mad. It's like, wait,
because they didn't think of it.
That's because you didn't think of it. So don't be mad when someone else uses like a loophole, or they say, look, I can't get it anyway because I'm part of this control group, or I'm exempt. People are going like crazy about it, and it's like,
it's none of your goddamn business anyway.
We've got to use what we can use. Right now to to be able to have as normal of a life as possible, but without having to go down the route of the narrative that they want us to go down.
Also I did see just before we finished that I think there was over a third of people in the UK that haven't even had the first one, so that's comforting to know for people that feel like they're isolated and they don't want it, and they're fighting thinking, and they may get pressured into doing it, but there is a lot of people that have, and some have had one and are refusing to have any more. Some have had two, refusing to have the booster, and they're now classed as like unjabbed. Which,
so welcome back to
welcome back with open arms.
You're one of us now.
Just very quickly, what did you learn about yourself on the show? That's one question that I was going to ask you before. What was the most valuable thing you learned?
What did I learn the most?
Not to be a bitch. Not that you was a bitch, but
I've actually learned that I have
patience.
A lot of patience. And genuinely, I have quite a nice, relaxing, in reality, my life is actually nice and chilled and relaxing. And it's exactly how I want it to be. And I'm actually really happy for that, to realise that I am in a place where I'm happy and I don't need like to be going out and doing like flashy things and doing all that and that,
chasing the fame as well.
And it's it's funny because I do think that, like I said, if even from the viewers now that, or other people, that if you're not conforming and you're not behaving like one of those people, then you know, you don't belong there, or you don't have money because you're not dressed in designer things 24 hours a day, or you're not driving one of the named kind of flashy cars or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've just realised I'm actually really happy with myself and my little life and how I get on a day-to-day basis, and my friendship group around me.
Yeah.
And I've actually realised, like, I am really comfortable without all those external material things, and you know. But luckily, I'm in a position where I have security, and that's like the most important thing to me. And I don't have to show it to everybody. It's not necessary for me to throw it in anyone's faces, but just to know that I've got that security is like big for me.
Yeah. One more question: would you do any other reality TV?
Oh, gosh. Do you know what? I would never say never, but I would have to do a reality show that
was meaningful.
And it, like, and I have to say, well, you can't.
Like what you're doing, actually. The show that you're doing is great. You know, it's, but it's not a show. It's a show, but it's not a.
It's not a reality show.
Yeah,
so we're like, it's kind of like, it's a bit like this, really.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to be chatting to people and talking to people.
I'm talking like, I don't know.
Do you know what?
A Bear Grylls or SAS. I fancy a bit of SAS. You know?
Yeah. And is that the one with Ollie Ollerton?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would.
I mean, I'd crap myself, like, but I think it'd be good to experience.
Do you know what? I don't know if I would last. I don't know if I'm like that strong, because I've watched and I'm like, I don't like the cold. I like my comforts.
Well, don't we all?
Oh, yeah. So that would be like really pushing. But I wouldn't ever say no. And even like a reality show where I can say, look, you can't cut out the most important
that ain't going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Because you know what? It's probably boring to people, isn't it? But it's like...
No, I was just thinking how beautiful the world would be if everything that was on the news or on like shows and stuff was uplifting, you know, or even just had a lot more balance to it.
That's the thing as well, because there are some amazing, incredible, beautiful things going on around the world on a daily basis.
Exactly.
And we're not looking at any of them. We're always looking at like the drama.
Negative,
And that's why I think...
There's a reason for that. To keep in a low vibrational state.
So I do think reality show and like news and is all kind of blending with the production, you know. It's like selecting some of the like the worst bits when, you know, reality is things, you know, can be really, really lovely and beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. A lovely note to end on. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And being here, and good luck with Divine.
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to being on it.
Yes, I know you are. You are coming on.
I didn't just invite myself on it and right the rest. Wink, nudge, nudge.
I said it like early on because, like, as I said right at the start of this, you were one of the people that first got me speaking out. Just. You know, from fighting on your page and going, don't be so like.
Well, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
It was all worth it then.
And I feel like it's weird how it's happened. Like, I mean, it's weird that I've now been given this great platform to be able to help people and find solutions. And I actually don't think it would have happened without the housewives, actually.
Exactly.
Because I think the housewives put me back into the spotlight. I'd been gone and I'd lived in America for 17 years.
Yeah.
So,
no regrets.
I was completely out. So no regrets.
Gratitude. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.